Pasay City Prosecutor's Office found probable cause to charge Senator Antonio Trillanes with inciting to sedition over a speech he made at the Senate. But the senator is shrugging off the case, saying he's not afraid to face it. Also, does the president need the Senate's concurrence to withdraw from the International Criminal Court, or ICC? And how big is the possibility of Janet Lim Napoles becoming a state witness? Let's go straight to the source of the story. Senator Antonio "Sonny" Trillanes. Senator, welcome back home. You were abroad?
Yes, well, good morning, Pinky.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, I came from this UN event in Austria.
And what was your participation there, sir?
It was in relation to a side event about the war on drugs of Mr. Duterte.
The war on drugs of the president?
Yes.
Which you now have probable cause on because of a sedition case. Sir, before we go to that, what did you do? Did you speak at this, was it an official UN meet?
It's a UN
convention?
side event.
Side event.
UN side event, and I was one of the speakers.
I see. And you talked about the government's war on drugs?
Yes.
And you gave out numbers, sir?
Yes, I used the Duterte Accomplishment Report for 2017, which detailed the numbers there, 4,000 for the deaths resulting from police operations and 16,000 plus homicides under investigation, which are drug-related. So in total, you have 20,000 plus deaths already in this war on drugs.
And this is the government's numbers, sir?
Yes, that's the official number that they gave out and reported out to the media.
Does this have anything to do with Vice President sending out a video before the UN as well, sir? Is this the same event somehow?
Yes, I believe the organizers are the same.
Okay. Is there a threat, sir, that this could be taken against you? I mean, let's go to your case here. The Pasay City Prosecutor's Office filed a case of probable cause on inciting to sedition. I think this was filed before. Is it the Metropolitan Court, sir?
Yes, I just posted bail yesterday, and I'm confident that any objective and impartial judge would see that this has no basis at all. And I really would like to question the competence of that prosecutor who filed this case, because the Constitution is very clear that no senator can be sued because of any speech made in Congress. And we are accountable to each other, of course, for unparliamentary language and action by the Senate body through an ethics case,
right,
but not a criminal or administrative case.
That's what I read also, sir, that if there is any abuse by the senators on their parliamentary immunity, that can go to the ethics case,
yes,
of the ethics committee, rather, of the Senate. They can look into this. But, sir, you said that you want to question the prosecutor. Do you plan to file a case or anything against the prosecutor, sir?
Well, under a stronger Senate leadership, a Senate President should have issued a show cause order to this prosecutor and questioned her wisdom why she forwarded this case despite the clear language of the Constitution. It's quite basic, and it should also be a signal to other prosecutors as well that they can't harass senators because of their privileged speeches.
You said, what were the words you said, sir, so I don't misquote you? Under a strong Senate leadership?
Yes, under a stronger Senate leadership.
So you don't obviously hear saying it's not a stronger Senate leadership you have with Senate President Coco Pimentel?
Definitely not. He's supposed to protect the institution. This is obviously an executive overreach. They're trying to extend their boundaries to within the area of responsibility of the Senate. And clearly, Senator Pimentel is just allowing it. And this will set a very bad precedent.
If the Senate President has not done anything about it, can you do something about it, sir?
Well, we can always move that a show cause order be issued against this prosecutor to let her explain why she did it.
Who can file this, sir?
Well, it can be done with a simple motion,
Okay.
and which would be adopted by the majority. But I'm waiting for the initiative of Senator Pimentel himself, because he's supposed to be the nominal leader of the Senate. But he has other ideas. Probably because he's looking at things from a partisan perspective, but this is way beyond partisanship. It's about the institution.
But what if he doesn't do anything about it? What's your next recourse to protect, as you said, the parliamentary immunity of lawmakers?
Well, I will discuss these things with the minority first, but well, for one, I can always move that a show cause order be issued against this prosecutor.
Right.
And hopefully that will be adopted. So we'll see how it goes.
What's okay, sir? I just want to go back to, well, this resolution by 19 senators. I think this was passed yesterday. So it's 19 senators backing resolution number 697, and this basically states that Article 6, Section 11 of the 1987 Constitution, as you were talking about, sir, must be upheld at all times. So this is what it says. It says, expressing the sense of the Senate that the absolute parliamentary immunity for speeches delivered in the Senate, as you said, sir, under Section 11, Article 6, must at all times be upheld and protected. So you have somehow the, well, backing of 18 other senators, because 19 senators signed it, including yourself.
Well, technically, Senator Escudero also shared the same view. It just so happened that he was absent yesterday, so that would make it 20. Well, it's just common sense. You don't need to really be a rocket scientist to deduce what that constitutional provision meant.
If it was, you think, I don't know, sir, just for the sake of argument, another senator who a case was filed of a complaint or probable cause was found on inciting to sedition on another senator, not yourself, do you think that a show cause order by the Senate President, he would have filed this immediately?
Well,
is it because it's you?
Probably, because I'm one of the critics of this administration, whom they are allied with. But if that's the case, then it's just unfair, and it's unjust. So I hope that Senator Pimentel would start to man up and protect the institution that he represents.
Do you think it will happen?
I'm not holding my breath, but I'll continue to hope.
All right, so let's go back to that privileged speech, sir. That was done or said in October 3, 2017, if I'm not mistaken. Sir, you were talking about, just to give a little bit of background here, on what is supposed to be the 2 billion peso transaction of allegedly of the president, but he wasn't president then, of Mayor Duterte from 2006 to 2015, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go back to that privileged speech.
Sinabi ni Mr. Duterte, bago lang, just earlier today, na pagka daw may nakitang 40 million pesos siya dun sa kanyang accounts, pwede raw siyang barilin at patayin. Sinabi niya ito sa mga sundalo. Ngayon, doon naman sa 40 million to 50 million, 21 times pumasok. Ano to credits ito at o kaya ay deposits. 21 times pumasok sa accounts ni Mr. Duterte kada 6 na buwan. So, ito, ngayon ang sagot, nako kung makikita ito ng mga sundalo, M60 na machine gun na gagamitin sa'yo kasi marami-rami ito, mauubos yung magazine. Kung 40 million ang hinahanap mo, Mr. Duterte.
So it seems, sir, that lay the basis for the inciting to sedition case against you. Aside from parliamentary immunity, is there another way you feel you can defend yourself against that particular privileged speech?
Well, even if I said that outside the halls of the Senate, there's nothing seditious about that. It's a spin on what Duterte actually said. But these are the signs of the times right now, how they bend laws to their favor and try to keep on pushing the boundaries and of imagination regarding twisting the laws. And that's how it is right now under the Duterte administration.
Are you entertaining, sir, the possibility of once again being detained, jailed?
I have already assumed the worst, that this president, Mr. Duterte, actually would have me killed. So that's, if you are prepared for that, then everything else would be gravy.
Handa din kayong makulong. We'll be taking a short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Still to come, can Janet Lim Napoles turn into a state witness? The fate of the impeachment case versus the Chief Justice at the Senate. Senator Antonio Trillanes will still be with us after the break. And also, would you like to take a sip of the world's oldest drink? That's for today's In Focus. Yes. 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 Hindi naman not fair that what he's saying is Senator Pimentel, is not manning up. Parang ganun, Hindi niya ginamit fair. All right, so we're still live on Facebook, sir. People are watching us. I'm sure merong kampi sa inyo, may mga galit sa inyo. Sir, doon ba sa Facebook, sanay na kayo doon sa mga galit na mga mukha na gumagalaw doon sa ilalim?
Mga
Sir,
professionals
napabother ka ba doon sa mga ganun?
Hindi, kasi alam ko mga professionals gumagawa noon. Hindi tunay na mga netizens yon. Kasi ang normal behavior ng mga netizen is kung ayaw mo sa isang tao, hindi mo papanoorin eh. Di ba? Pero they were ordered precisely to watch that...
To watch you, for
watch
example.
me, para magpindot ng angry face.
Pero hindi kayo naniniwala. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, Senator Antonio Trillanes. Sir, still so much to discuss the International Criminal Court. The President wants out. Do we need the concurrence of the Senate to get out of the Rome Statute, which created the International Criminal Court, sir?
I believe so, because the decision to withdraw is just as important as entering into a treaty. And in entering a treaty, you need two-thirds vote of the total members of the Senate. So, by implication, you would also need the concurrence of the Senate when you withdraw. So, my position is, since there is no concurrence, then therefore the decision to withdraw of Mr. Duterte is void from the start. But regardless, whether the Supreme Court will later on validate his withdrawal, according to the Rome Statute, the effectivity is only 1 year after the notice has been received.
To the Secretary General of the UN.
Yes, and any communication that was already commenced, the examination, will not be hindered by such a withdrawal.
In other words, sir, while there is an examination ongoing now and we leave, let's say a week ago, what happened prior to leaving and even 1 year later, magpapatuloy po yun. I think it was the ICC that even said this. Let's put that up on the screen. In the event of a withdrawal from the ICC, the decision therefore will therefore not affect the continuation of the preliminary examination process, nor does it affect the continuing obligation of the state concerned to cooperate with the court in relation to an investigation initiated before the withdrawal came into effect. In other words, sir, ibig lang sabihin, kahit umalis kayo, kung meron ng gumugulong na hindi man kaso examination, magpapatuloy po yun.
Yes.
Pero how can that proceed, sir, if government will refuse to cooperate because they say that the ICC is a fraud?
Okay. Remember that the Rome Statute was conceptualized based on the assumption that the administration under question is hostile. That the president or the senior public officials in that country are oppressing the people. So they are not expected to cooperate. So the ICC can operate also under that assumption. And in fact, they're better at that. Now, let me just go back to the reason of Mr. Duterte why he withdrew.
Yes.
He was citing that it was not published in the official gazette,
sir.
Therefore, it's not effective. Now, we came out with this executive order 459 of President Ramos, and it stated there, it enumerated there the specific requirements when a treaty will come into force. And there was no mention about publication in an official gazette. And that's just a requirement for the domestic laws. And in fact, he himself said that ignorance of the law excuses no one. Precisely this is it. Regardless whether you have read it or not, once we have satisfied the ratification requirements of the ICC, then we are already a member state. And also, let's remember that Mr. Duterte is withdrawing because he has no way out. So his withdrawal is self-serving. He may come out with 1,000 reasons and justifications, but at the end of the day, it is self-serving. He wants to evade accountability.
Does this mean that he's affected by this examination, sir?
Most definitely. He's acting like he's a man in panic. At every turn, he keeps on justifying or demonizing the ICC and the UN and justifying his actions of withdrawing from the ICC. So that's not an image of a man confident of being cleared of these allegations because he didn't do anything.
But on the flip side, it's he who is saying that the ICC and the UN is the one demonizing him. Di ho ba?
Well, Mr. Duterte is a master propagandist. He lies, he spins just to drive his point. But I believe people can see through that.
Sir, uusad ho kaya itong ICC?
Sana naman. But I'm confident because 20,000 yung namatay eh. And somebody needs to be accountable for that. May kailangan may managot.
But if you say that you need, I know that the Constitution is quite silent about the concurrence to withdraw. I mean, there's concurrence to approve, ni ho ba, the President, and then with the concurrence of the Senate 2/3. But it never talked about withdrawal, that the concurrence of the Senate is required. What is the move in the Senate right now, sir? Dahil nagsabi na po si Presidente, nagbigay na po sila ng sulat, anong gagawin ng Senado ngayon?
One of the options would be to file a petition in the Supreme Court questioning the validity of that decision, the withdrawal. Last year, may final na resolution yung mga senador. It was signed by 14 senators, and I wasn't able to sign that because I was on official business. But I believe yan ang sentimiento ng mga majority ng mga senador ngayon na you cannot just withdraw. Kasi importante yung decision eh. Kaya nga nire-remove natin yung arbitrariness ng isang sitting president by having that requirement.
But if it's important, sir, how come no one has done anything in the Senate about it? I've not heard, sir. Has a resolution been filed that the Senate, the President needs a concurrence of the Senate to get out of the Rome Statute, sir?
Well, last year there was a resolution filed for treaties in general.
Yeah, but this one, sir.
But this one, remember, this thing happened only last week, and we were tackling so many pieces of legislation the past few weeks. So probably after the break, we'll have one.
But would you initiate filing a resolution on this?
We are seriously considering that, filing a resolution in the Senate and filing a petition in the
before
Supreme Court.
the Supreme Court, sir. And if a resolution or a petition is filed before the Supreme Court, sir, are you confident that it will be decided properly, righteously, or?
We shall see. Well, it doesn't mean that I will file the petition right away. Regardless when I file it, pagka nag-decide yung Supreme Court, eventually, then pag na-void yan, void from the start. Then it's as if we didn't withdraw at all.
As if it never happened.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Well, the ICC questioning, of course, the examination again, rather, will of course continue as they mentioned. And then another topic came up very recently, sir, after the ICC withdrawal, is that Janet Lim Napoles included provisionally in the witness protection program, sir. Did this come as a surprise to you?
Actually, no, because this administration has been pulling out all the tricks to harass the opposition and come up with trumped-up charges to file against them. So this is just one of those tricks.
And if she becomes state witness, sir?
Well, I hope yung taong bayan ay magalit naman. Sinumpaan na natin ito si Napoles 5 years ago, and we have extracted every little information we can get out of her in so many appearances in the Senate. So what would make her more credible now? And remember, they're very harsh in not believing Mr. Matubato in Las Cañas, and now a witness like Janet Napoles would be the worst kind of witness.
Sir, I'm looking back, trying to look back at the testimony of Janet Lim Napoles and reading about it. And as far as I remember, sir, please correct me if I'm wrong, is that the many times she showed up at the Senate is that you were senator that time, sir. She said she knew nothing about it. She was not involved in it. Wala ho siyang kinalaman. Zero. Yun ho ang aking pagkaalala. Is that true, sir? Is that yun din ho ba ang inyong naaalala?
When she appeared in the Senate, she was evasive because she knew that it would be used against her in her cases. But in the numerous affidavits, I believe at least 2 affidavits that she submitted before the DOJ, there was a list of names there, and Senator Lacson also had a list, Senator De Lima also had a list, and she cannot possibly come up with new names there and fail to have any documentary backup, because if you put in a name there and yet you don't have any project to
link to any of the NGOs, linked to her.
Yes, and so parang ano lang yan, nag-drawing ka lang.
But I spoke to her lawyer, Attorney David, and he said that they are building up cases, and the first would be against Senator Drilon. That's what he told me, sir.
Well, I'm confident Senator Drilon would be able to defend himself, but bakit hindi na-mention before? Dalawang listahan yun, pinigayan, and I believe we asked her, sino pa ang mga kilala mong involved dyan? Then,
did she name anyone that time in the Senate, sir? Naalala niyo ho ba kung meron siya pinangalanan in the Senate?
I believe she kept referring to the affidavit.
Okay. But
that's it.
Verbally, did she say it in the Senate halls?
I really can't remember.
Maybe it's
now.
really something we should also look back to, sir. So, yung pong kanyang kaso is that, of course, marami pong haka-haka, but they were saying that because in the past administration, these senators could have been aligned with the president, Sir President Aquino. Ngayon po, she's willing to tell all. Parang ganun po ang lumalabas ngayon.
Ang sa akin kasi, you already have Ben Hurluy. And meron silang disk na sinubmit. All the evidence are there. Meron ang DBM, they have the documents, the SAROS, all the letters there. Kung sino man yung mga hindi na prosecute, they can do that without Napoles.
All right. Very quickly, though, we want to talk about the Sereno impeachment, but before that, we'll get the Senator's thoughts on that and the co-warranto petition before the Supreme Court on Chief Justice on leave, Maria Lourdes Sereno. We'll be taking a short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. Wala. Hindi, kasi I remember Senator Drilon. I mean, the only thing I remember is that there was a picture of her and I think the wife, Mila, and the senator. Parang ganun, or Senator Drilon.
Yeah. But kung yun ang basis natin, ilang pictures ni Duterte kay Peter Lim.
Yeah.
That's even worse, right? Now, remember ito si Janet Napoles, nasa social circle siya before that. And yun eh.
Yeah, pictures can be taken at any time. I mean, that's the only thing I remember of parang a link before. Kasi syempre, there was one with Jinggoy, there was one with Senator Revilla as well, di ba?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, sir, let's just talk about the Sereno impeachment. Yes. Got it. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, Senator Trillanes. Sir, the quo warranto petition filed before the Supreme Court, and then you have the Senate, if ever, will come together as an impeachment body. Sir, paano ho ba yun? What if the Supreme Court rules on Chief Justice on leave, Maria Lourdes Sereno?
That quo warranto petition is unconstitutional. Maliwanag sa Constitution that the only way you can remove a justice of the Supreme Court is through impeachment. And this case, it will test the resolve of the Supreme Court justices. If they act on this, then they will be exposing themselves to an impeachment case later on, and for those who will be retiring, an ombudsman case, a graft case.
Are you saying that if, for example, sabihin po nila valid nga itong, kasi kina-question the validity of the appointment of the Chief Justice on leave, if they say it is valid, let's say, I don't know, right now only one says that should have been thrown out from the very beginning, that's Justice Marvic Leonen. Maybe somebody in Congress might file an impeachment case against the rest of the sitting justices in the Supreme Court, sir?
No, we'll have to wait for their decision.
Yes.
If they will dismiss it altogether, fine. Pero kung may magsasabi doon na i-grant yung quo warranto petition na yun, then that justice will be exposed to that impeachment.
Yes, so there's a threat of impeachment kapag napatalsik po siya Chief Justice on the quo warranto, is what you're saying?
No, even not even. Kunyari, out of the 15 justices, may bumoto ng dalawa to grant it. Yung dalawa na yon,
I-impeach.
pwede sila ma-impeach.
Yeah.
Kasi bawal yun. Alam nila na bawal yun. Di ba? And yet they did it.
Okay, and then sir, 2019, tapos na ho kayo sa Senado.
Yes.
And what are your plans?
Well,
Maaari ho ba kayong, hindi na kayo pwedeng tumakbo, no?
Hindi na,
Yes,
hindi
okay.
na. Initially, I planned to study, but masyado pang maraming problema in Pilipinas. So I will just continue to pursue my advocacies through the private sector.
You're not going to run local, sir? Local position?
no,
Ayaw niyo po mag-local?
Ayoko po.
Okay, well, just last, sir, because the PDP already has a senatorial lineup, sir. There's about, I'm not sure, maybe 9 of them. What are your thoughts on them?
Well, if you're looking for a disastrous scenario, then that would be a dream team. Kung wala na tayong pag-asa sa ating bansa, then yan ang dream team na iboto nila.
Sino ho ba ang pinaka-disastrous dun sa...
Well, wala kang mapili eh.
Lahat po sila?
Well, the fact na nandoon ka kay Duterte, there's something wrong with you.
All right. All right, Senator Antonio Trillanes.